no one opened this, just in
Yeah, that's
case
fine.
we will miss some information later. No, you can start, Mario.
All right. Do you think I should share the video once again so persons kind of an understanding, you know, of the whole process, more intimate?
Sure. I mean, it's only 2.5 minutes, so
okay.
For planetary health, nature.
Are you hearing me? Are you hearing?
Strong environmental laws and institutions are essential for planetary health, nature, pandemic recovery, and resilience. They underpin the successful implementation of any environmental goal, policy, or commitment, including the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its Sustainable Development Goals. At the 4th United Nations Environment Assembly held in 2019, member states agreed an ambitious 10-year intergovernmental program on environmental law. The 5th Montevideo Program on the Development and Periodic Review of Environmental Law, or the Montevideo Environmental Law Program, kicks off a decade of action on environmental law. The program's vision is to promote the development and implementation of environmental rule of law, strengthen the related capacities in countries, and contribute to the environmental dimension of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. To achieve this, the program has 6 objectives supported by 9 strategic activities. The Montevideo Environmental Law Program is implemented by UNEP with the strategic guidance of an intergovernmental steering committee for implementation and a global network of national focal points designated by each member state. This global network on environmental law is complemented by strong partnerships with stakeholders for implementation. The program partners with academia, civil society, the private sector, secretariats of multilateral environmental agreements, UN agencies, and intergovernmental organizations. The digital backbone of the program is UNEP's Law and Environment Assistance Platform, or UNEP LEAP. This coordination and delivery platform allows member states to directly request support from UNEP and partners, and provides a comprehensive and searchable knowledge base of relevant environmental legislation, cases, model laws, and other guidance products. 2020 to 2030 is a make-or-break decade for the environment and guaranteeing the protection of our planet. UNEP is proud to support a flagship intergovernmental program on environmental law that will help countries take the necessary steps toward a better future.
All right, again. So thank you all for joining in today's discussion. My co-facilitator here is Yokolo. Again, we open the discussion. We will be using, I think it's 7 or so guiding questions, to inform the decisions here today. On your screen, you should be seeing the guiding question is, what legal solutions are needed to address the thematic issues: biodiversity loss, climate change, and pollution. So at this point in time, we'll open the discussion. Let me first say, does everyone have access to the Jamboard?
I will type the Jamboard here in the chat. And by the way, you will see like already some notes typed into this Jamboard. Thank you. Okay. So basically, you will see some stick notes on this screen already. So there are like 2 breakout rooms. We're sharing the same website, same Jamboard. Therefore, you will see this people moving the notes already. This is my quick information for you. Yeah, I will jump to another breakout room. Tell them they can also record. So I will be back. But please continue, Mario.
Okay. Do you know how to take up how do we edit the information? Are we supposed to stick select?
Yeah, I know. So if you click on the note below that, the pointing, the one below the note icon. No, the one below. Go bottom. Go down, down, down. Yeah, that one. Click on it. No, that one.
This one?
No. Go above.
This one.
That one. Yeah.
Okay.
Click on it. Then you just put it there.
Okay. All right, so colleagues, the floor is now open. Thank you very much, Yoko. The floor is now open. As is stated, you can add your comments in the chat as well. If you don't want to open up your mic and speak, you can you can add it. You can use the note, the sticky note. Where it is. So it's when you're seeing the screen. So it is it should be on the left hand side. The fourth icon that says sticky note. You should click it and then you add your inputs. But I want you to open up your mic and speak because I want to hear your opinions, your comments. This is what legal solutions are needed to address the thematic issues: biodiversity loss, climate change, and pollution. So you can open up your mics. Okay. Simplifying administrative paperwork with stakeholders supported by governments. Also understanding their situation. Okay. Implementation strategy. Open up your mics, colleagues. So we are currently doing
Hello.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Cheku.
Thank you very much. Are we to go according to the slide? Because I've seen institutional capacity for the assessment. They will start one after the other, or we can start.
So we're using this slide. We're using this slide first, and then after a few minutes, we jump over to the next.
What I mean is that the slide gets some columns, right? Now we have climate advocate to go through the legislation on the behalf of the nature, right? Then there are other things, legal binding agreements to cut off the fundings and what research networks for fundings and what research into the fossil sphere, right? The treaties, the use of gaps analysis in the national, regional context to identify the need for new legislation, right? So what I'm trying to say is that I just want us to come together and try to treat one after the other, because all what I've seen here is very much important. Let us discuss on it and try to know how best we can do it here. Now, I'm talking about the advocacy, climate advocacy here. In my country, Sierra Leone, here, I am an advocate. My organization is Advocacy Network, right? So what I see, is we need to put more pressure and try to influence the government to try to put a bill and see how best they can be able to protect nature. I can cite an examples. We have the Anti-Human Trafficking Act, which is 2005. But this act doesn't make a provision for smuggling, because at that time we were not thinking about human smuggling. So they developed that act from that way. But when cases started to come, they started to smuggle people, go to other countries in the name of getting a greener pasture, and later they turn them as slaves. So what we do as stakeholders in Sierra Leone, we develop an act again that cooperates smuggling and trafficking, right? So when that happens, it takes some time. The MPs, they don't want to approve the bill. So what we do, started to go on media, right, to request the MP to expedite the process of this, So I'm thinking that this is the normal way we can do again here. Now, let us develop this one. Let us develop the documents and get you the documents. Then later we share it and try to get the legal, try to get the parliamentarians to see how best they can approve these documents so that it can become a law. Right? But by so doing that, it needs a lot of advocacy and lots of commitment and lots of concern to see that this pass into our country. And I'm saying that all what I'm talking here, maybe it might affect other countries as well, as far as Africa is concerned. But this is the most important thing here that I've seen. This climate advocate to go through legislation on the behalf of the nature. It's very much paramount and it's very much good. If we don't have legislation on this climate change, whatever things we do, we are just wasting our time because the politician will just come and turn it down one day. So on that note, we need to come together and try to develop some things so that we can influence the parliamentarian, the legislators to participate. So this is my thoughts, inputs.
Oh, thank you very much, Secretary Sheku. So I've noted your points, and interestingly, I understand what you're saying. One of the important things that I wrote down and I got from your point is that we need to update national laws, in a sense. So you mentioned about human rights, and it doesn't incorporate things such as trafficking. So the law that you have. So what would be important is that the politicians or the members of parliament at the local or national level need to do their best to update national laws to incorporate current issues. In a sense, one it would be human rights, trafficking, in a sense. So that is it. So as you can see, I captured it here. It says update national laws. In a sense, I put it in relation to the topic. So update national laws that currently addresses climate change, pollution, and biodiversity laws. Because there may be laws in your country or in my country that is, addressing climate change. But what it is it addressing the climate change in the sense that it is addressing it after the Paris Agreement or post the Paris Agreement, since the Paris Agreement comes? Because as you would have known, many countries do have laws. Is it that are these laws looking at, what are the commitments of governments since they signed on to the Paris Agreement, which is the most recent international agreement, that countries are trying to meet different commitments, different things. So I think that is another step that we can head towards.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mario. You are in the point. It is very correct that the government officers or the parliamentarians or the lawmakers, they will not just sit together and say, oh, there is a need for us to change this or to add this or to remove or to repeal. No, there must be a force. The force come together and develop what they see. It's very good for the country. And once they come together, they develop it, they present it before them. And once it's presented, it's going to first reading, second reading, third reading, until finally it's finalized. But they don't have the know-how to just see that, oh, let us operate our laws. Let us operate our laws. No, there must be a force behind it. The force will come in, and once they come in, then later they will realize that, oh, this is the right thing. So that is exactly what I'm trying to say. We have to develop our own to protect our people, develop our document. And within that document, that framework, then we influence them to see reasons and approve it. And once it's approved, then finally it becomes law. But never they just think so, oh, because we are parliamentarians, we are the lawmakers, let's modify this, let's change this, or let's repeal this one. They won't, except to meet them. And how can we meet them? We develop what we want and allow them to approve it.
Thank you very much. I do agree with the points that you have raised. Another thing that I think that we can look at too, before we move on to the next slide, is a law or treaty that would, have national governments disclose maybe issues of climate change, pollution, or biodiversity loss at the national level. There are laws, there are policies to say that this shouldn't happen or this shouldn't take place. But are these laws sufficient enough to say that public access to information about these issues must be made? So I think that is one of the things that we need to look into as well. So public access to information is one of those things, that legal solution that we need to look at. And then another important issue is that we need to break them down. Do we need a law to say that countries must not have certain deforestation? Do we need a law to say that polluters must pay for it? Do we need a law? So we need to look at those things as well. So the polluter pay law. The polluters pay law must. So we need to look at the concrete legal solution in terms of looking at it from all three main areas. Do we need a law to say that polluters pay? are the polluters pay treaty or the polluters pay law? These are questions that we may need to ask.
Yeah, Mr. Mario, I think I've seen other thing here again that you mentioned. The first one here, institutional capacity for reinforcement, right? I think this also is very good aspect as far as institutions are concerned. We should be able to get the institution that we can develop. So that this, we're talking
Please
about
to mute
now.
yourselves if you're not speaking. Sorry, Shego. Please to mute you.
Let the admin mute. Now, what you mentioned here, this either it be organizations or any other institution, it needs reinforcement. And based on that one, if we focus, okay, we have an institution in Sierra Leone that champion these climate issues, right? We identify that institution and try to give them what they need for them to be effectively operate and give them the capacity to train them within all the staff that are in that particular institution for them to do whatever things what is going to be good for the public. So on that note, this one here also important. And without getting identifying institution, which we can help to develop and tell and train them about climate change, about climate educations, we will not get what we want. So that one is very much important for us to try to identify institutions in various countries in the world. Once we get them, then we start to train them, give them the necessary training, so that these people, once we got the training, these people will be able to communicate effectively to each and everyone what is going on within Sierra Leone as far as the climate change is concerned, as far as disaster management is concerned, or any other thing that has to be within our thematic areas. But the institution must be empowered and trained.
Thank you very much.
This is my this observation, yes, because I'm yet to read again and try to see how best I can contribute, because I'm doing climate education in Sierra Leone here, and I have some knowledge in it, and I have other things that which in the future maybe I will develop them and share them to you, because it's very much important. It's very much important. We live in the world here, and we need to protect. Each and everyone must take responsibility, because you live, just like when you live to your father's house, you need to take all responsibility to see that the house is okay. But if you are living in a climate, in a climate, then you don't take responsibility. It means you don't care. Whatever things happen, you don't care. So why people don't care? Because they don't have the knowledge.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eko. Unfortunately, we'll have to move on to the next slide at this point in time. I see this is a lot so far, and I think that we'll have to move on to the next slide at this time. If can somebody record, like do a little video or something, so we can do a little bit of update. This is a lot. Maybe we'll have to make these smaller.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I can tell you how to make a new page on this Jamboard. So if you go to
sorry.
Okay, wait. I actually don't remember. Wait, let me just. Yeah, wait. I did this last time. Wait a minute. Sorry. Okay, don't worry. I will just do it now. Okay, so Mario, I can just tell you how to do it. I think it's better for you or anyone else to learn about this. So click on the TV screen thing. Yeah, click on that. Click. Wait, whose mouse is that? Mario.
Which one?
I don't know. Oh, is that you? The black one? Is that your mouse? Click on the, oh, that's mine. Okay, sorry, that was my mouse. I got confused. Sorry, Mario.
Okay.
If you click on the, okay, not that one. No, not that one. Go back. click on the screen in the middle. No, I mean the box. The
This
two-
one?
No, at the 2/8, the box in the middle of the top. Okay, go
This
to
one?
that one. Yeah, click on it. Click. Yeah. And then you can add, put the plus, click the plus between the 2 and 3. Yeah, click on that one.
Okay.
And then you can, yeah, basically make another one.
Carry some of the info over.
Yeah, I think you can. Copy the question and move to the next question. Yeah, duplicate.
I'm really not sure.
I mean, I just do it then. Wait,
I'm really not sure what to do.
don't worry. I just duplicate the slide. I just did it now, but then I think that I made it worse. Wait. Don't worry.
Well,
Because you can work on that slide.
should we move on to the third one? Should we move on to the
Yeah, please do.
this one?
Yeah, don't worry. I will do the reorganize the slides.
Oh, thank you so much.
Don't worry. All
right, colleagues. So we are now at the next question, our next guiding question, and this one says, "What are the best legal practices you know that can help?" Sorry. What are the best legal practices you know that can help solve issues? So issues of biodiversity loss, issues of issues of biodiversity loss, issues of pollution, issues related to climate change. What are the best legal practices that you think can address with oh, just to say that we are currently using the same Jamboards. So both rooms are, because it is about 28 of us or so on. So we are currently using the same Jamboard. It's about 20 something. So we're on the same Jamboard. All right, so colleagues, we're now at the second question with other colleagues. What are the best legal practices you know that can help solve the issue? Is it name and shame? Do you think name and shame?
Let me say something.
Go ahead, Sheku.
Yeah. Although we are 12 years, so I want to give chance to others people so that they themselves can contribute. I don't want to do all the talking. It's okay. And what I see, yeah, the best practice, it means we need to get farm laws that protect the environment. Once that is done, I'm sure the problem will be solved. Even if you go to a community, even the local to a community, just like a village setting or a town settings, they have their own of administrations. When someone breaks the law, they know what will be the punishment. So in this case, again, for us to get the best practices, right? We need to get farm laws. And those laws will be used to anyone who fall foul against it. So on that note, I just want to put farm laws. At this moment, I'll come back later. And
sorry, yeah. Sheku, can you repeat that? You said we need funding or founders? Farm
laws. Very good laws.
Okay, farm laws.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very good laws. And once we have them, then we are going to get what we want.
Oh, farm laws. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, firm. FIRM. Firm laws.
Yeah.
Okay. Firm laws that would Okay, I think this covers the point. All right, so we need to also look at other ways in which we can, other ways in which we can actually address these issues. Do you think that we need laws that would name and shame countries, or countries that actually is not contributing to the Montevideo law process or not contributing to the environmental law processes? Hello?
Yeah.
I'll just give an example related to in my country. In India, we have a National Green Tribunal of India, which is an officially a specialized body which has been equipped with necessary expertise to handle any kind of environmental disputes involving multidisciplinary issues related to the biodiversity or any other environmental protection, conservation of forests and other natural resources, even including the enforcement of any legal rights relating to the environment for seeking relief and compensation for damages that might have been caused to the local land or property or any area. And such matters are also heard. The government itself has provided certain powers to the National Green Tribunal, and which is provided in the National Green Tribunal Act in 2010. So this has been really helpful in preventing various harmful anthropogenic activities in various areas which are now being designated as protected areas. But there are still certain many limitations also for this National Green Tribunal, as the local capacity for their organizations is also lacking. It requires 10 members in the judicial or 10 members in the, at least in the expert capacity. But currently the NGT is functioning with only 3 judicial and 3 expert members against the required members of 10, which is very much less than the officials requirement under the Act. So thereby it is having limitations and it is failing to achieve the right to a healthy environment. But yet this has been an important practices that has helped solve in many issues in the country.
Thank you very much, Rahul. So I like the concept. I like the idea of the law. So it's a National Green Tribunal Act, right? Just to clarify.
Yes.
I think that's something that if we make a suggestion, so it's laws such as that of India that created the laws such as that of India, which is the National Green Tribunal Act. I think that's something that we can look into. Good. Is there any other suggestion that we can use? I think one of the next thing that we need to look into is, it's the assertion of constitutional right to environmental as a legal remedy. So I'm not sure if in your country, your constitution states that you have the right to an healthy environment. Okay, thanks, Yoko. How many more minutes? Can you tell me how many more minutes we have remaining?
I actually don't even know. Oh, sorry. So our meeting is finished in 45 minutes, right? So I think
Okay.
like 35 minutes left.
Okay, no problem. We'll soon finish. All right, so we'll move on to the next question shortly. Do you think that there should be a reinforcement or constitution should be amended to include the right to an environment for all? a push a constitution to include the right to a cleaner and healthy environment in line with the UNHCR recommendation. Let me see. Okay.
Yeah, so for those who write your comments, your ideas, please also, I think it's actually much more beneficial if you write your comments in the Jamboard. And by the way, Mario,
Yes.
I don't like when we look at the notes about the National Green Tribunal Act. I don't think we understand what that means. So I think it was mentioned that this National Green Tribunal Act was something to do with the protecting the area or something like that.
Let me go and check.
Maybe I will. So what is this like National Green Tribunal Act consist of? Like, is it like a protect area law?
This provision of
Raul?
Montevideo. Hello.
I'm just
The Constitution, they have provided some powers to this. This has been like a agency on its own, which is having a group of experts which can also penalize any criminal activities against the environment.
So of its own, group of its own.
And hello, Mario, can you please repeat the question you asked again?
I was just Now it's just Yoko had raised questions about what exactly is the National National Green Tribunal Act. So I was suggesting that Raul could take the question because he understands it better than I do. But I do like the idea of the act and so I made a suggestion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Erin has her hand up for a long time. Please speak up.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm not seeing the hands. Oh my God, sorry. Let me see. Irene, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Yes, please. Hi, everyone. I'm Irene from Uganda. I'm working with Biodiversity Hub International. And I wanted to say something about our last question. In my country, we have, they are implementing the polluter pays principle, where every industry or owner has to pay some money to clean up the environment. And they have also introduced a law where every member of parliament is requested to include environment, like environment awareness in all his speech whenever they are going to address to the public. Yeah, that is it.
Wow, interesting. So is this, go ahead, Cheku.
Mario, yeah, Mario, what about sense again, for us to avoid and try to get the best practice and protect the environment as well, we need to minimize the single use of plastics. Find out that even the sea, they are polluted by these plastics, the community, the society where we live, because people just use plastics once and they throw them away. So we need to avoid the single use of plastic or minimize it. And also, again, we need to engage the producers, those people who are producing these plastics, for them to make it very, very, very minimal. So less production of plastics, then avoid single use of plastics. These are the 2 action points. Less production of plastics and avoid single use of plastics. And once that is done, we can see our environment. We can take our environment forward. But if we are continuously using, the producers continuously produce larger quantity of plastics, and people always use them once and then throw them to our community, no matter what we do, we cannot win this battle. So this is what I've just captured. Maybe I'll come back. Thank you very much.
Mario, can you see the chat by any chance when you share the screen? Mario?
Yoko, are you hearing me? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I was talking and I didn't know I was muted. Sorry.
Can you see the chat when you share the screen?
Yes, I can see the chat. I'm
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah, I wonder
Go
if
ahead.
you can copy this messages into the Jamboard as well at some time.
Which one of the messages? One
Oh.
from Rahul?
All of them. So I'm writing the notes, so I haven't really paid attention to the chat, but it'd be nice to copy some of these messages into the
I'm trying to copy them, but my computer won't allow me. I'm not sure why.
Okay, I guess I have to do it then. So sure, don't worry.
I've been trying for the longest while, but my computer won't allow me.
Okay,
I normally use Control C,
yeah,
but it's not going through.
Okay, don't worry, I will do it then. No worries.
Not sure why. So thank you so much. So we have to move on to the next question. If there are any other questions in this section, you can go back because you will have access. I think you'll have access to some time for the rest of the day. Let's us move on to the next question. What are bad principles? What are bad practices and restrictions? What are bad practices and restrictions?
Oh wait, sorry. So before you go, I'm gonna do that again.
Sorry.
Oh, but it's okay. Adeline is not here anymore. You can continue. So Adeline was saying he would like to share them idea, but he wants to know what the issues we're talking about. But then Adeline is no longer here. So don't worry. You can continue, Mario.
Oh, no. I'm trying to figure out, I'm not understanding this question here. It says, what are bad practices and principles, restrictions are needed to address to tackle the crime? It should say,
I think
is it?
I may change crime. No.
Okay. All right, so I think it's saying, what are bad practices that are
it's
contributing? What are the bad practices that are contributing to climate change?
No.
This question, I think you need to rephrase it.
It's environment.
It needs to be rephrased. Yes. What are bad practices that restrictions are needed to address? Oh, it's okay.
Okay, it's
I've seen this word restriction. It's okay.
Yeah. So it's not climate change. So it's environment crisis.
Environment. All right.
So yeah. What are bad practices and restrictions are needed to address, to tackle the crisis?
What are the solutions? Do you have, what are the suggestions that you think can go here? I think countries dependent on oil. Do you think what's the solution to that? We need to move forward with renewable is this for right energy? That's one. Do you guys think anything else that's needed? What are the comments in the chat? Such as empowerment of environmental protection agencies towards firm so I got a comment from I'm reading the ones main root of the problem is individual avoidance and lack of will to protect nature. Oh. Wait a minute, my PC is going.
I guess I can comment. Thank you for my speaking. I will say, actually, or let me just rephrase this question. Well, I changed the question a bit, but so I can talk, comment is that maybe the policies, they are not like legally binding. So even like, so the best practice is that the policies are not strict enough. They're not legally binding, like some like yeah, something like that. And also like there's no, I mean, I will rewrite a note. And the second one I would think is that there's no consistent monitoring of some of these issues, like the oil spills, oil spills in the like ocean, like the ones that are very difficult to monitor. And so there's no strong monitoring technology or applications that monitor problems that are difficult, problems that are moving. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for me for now. I don't know if I should call update, but more like maybe have consistent monitoring evaluation process in all parts of the world, like the developing countries. Yeah, I mean, something came up to my mind too. Number 3 is the lack of, I already used type, or maybe I will type myself too. I will type another one then. The lack of, don't worry, Mario, I'm typing this one at the same time I'm talking. The lack of data in developing countries, like the socioeconomic data. Some of these countries are not sharing them because they might be afraid of sharing them. I don't know, but definitely the government is restricting the access of data. So that is kind of the negative issue part of this aspect. Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Yoko. can you remind me of the time that we have? I think we need to move on to the next slide at this time. All right, so this question is, what is the difficulty in implementing existing laws on these matters? Why the difficulty? What do you think can be done to remove it? What are some of the difficulty in your country to implement laws? I think one of the difficulty that we currently do have is the capacity of our government. Capacity of government institutions to effectively implement laws, existing laws. So any other suggestions at this point?
One more.
Yoko was also mentioning regarding the monitoring, the need for strong monitoring process. So because there are no monitoring agencies that can actually track the progress and progress of the implementation of the different laws. So if we can develop the monitoring agencies that can actually help in also the capacity building of the institutions, and to improve monitoring for the implementation process as well as the levels of implementation, to ensure that it is accelerated as well as implemented accordingly.
You were saying that we need to have different monitoring agencies for different steps. Is that correct, Raul?
Yes, even the government agencies themselves can dedicate a monitoring team within the implementation agencies. So one aspect would be the monitoring of the implementation levels and as well as the evaluation, because there is always a constant change in different legal frameworks related to the biodiversity laws or related to the natural resources or the environmental protection, and also the frameworks regarding the national and local and global levels. Since everything is so dynamic, and we also need data on the best practices and the evidence from different countries which can be adopted by various nations, so that these monitoring agencies can also not only focus the implementation part but also fine-tune the implementation according to the latest available evidence. So it will be an evidence-based implementation, and it will also help in we don't need to waste certain resources. So the implementation agency can also have an inbuilt monitoring agency within them.
Thanks very much, Raul. I'm also, what is the difficulty? All right, so I see comments from a few persons in the chat. Let me go and read it. So I see Adamno is saying technical mechanisms and processes affect and process affects we need to adopt good implementation structure. I'm already put this on the board. Oh, okay, good. Thanks, Yoko. So Yoko is my co-facilitator.
Yeah.
All right. So is there any other comment that we need to look at?
So I have a query on Rahuldeep's take. Rahuldeep, would you like to clear that you told that we need different monitoring system agencies, but in the countries like Nepal, where government very much struggle to have fund for the monitoring, establishing monitoring agencies throughout the country in multiple levels. How about having a single monitoring panel, but in the different stages and different levels that will monitor right from the grass level to the mainstream level, how things are going in and out?
Amit,
Yes, thank you, Amit, for that question. And
Okay.
we have recently also seen this Montevideo programs video on YouTube that was provided to us in the beginning. It also mentions that there is an interministerial or intergovernmental groups that are actually working on implementation of all these triple planetary crisis. So because there are different agencies involved, each agency is having expertise in different areas. So one agency cannot help in monitoring the work of another agency. So it will be better that the same implementation agency, which is implementing related to a biodiversity loss, can focus the monitoring in their biodiversity loss, but it also has to be transparent, which can they can help get help from the other inter agencies, intergovernmental agencies, and also the inclusion of non-state actors, which can also help as a supportive role for strengthening and guiding the implementation process as well as monitoring the whole process, which has been throughout followed by many resource limited countries around the globe.
Raul, you made an important point just now, and I think it says inclusion of non-state actors. Can you just remind me? I didn't get it clearly. So it's the inclusion of non-state actors to help with
Yes, they can help with the monitoring and have a supportive role for strengthening and guiding the implementation as well as monitoring process.
let me just hurry and put this there. Do we have any other comment, solution? Copy this. Okay, good.
Let me just add something.
Go ahead, Sheku.
It is very good that when implementing, you are able to get the attention of the government. But the most difficult things in terms of implementation of these laws, getting the government's attention, is very difficult. And what next can be done? Why difficult? What do you think it can be done to remove it? Except we have a very strong advocacy and try for them to know exactly what is going on. And once they understand what is going on, I'm sure they will be able to take action. Then the other way around again, I've seen, I think before giving a project to someone, you need to get a better knowledge, relevant knowledge for him or her to implement the project. On that note, we need to get some training. We train those people and give them better knowledge as to how they can be able to implement successfully. Without the training, it might be very difficult because each and everyone has his own qualifications. So if you want to bring him to another area, you need to get some training so that he or she can be able to deliver effectively.
Thank you so much, Sheku. So you would have noticed that almost every single time I move to a different slide, you would have noticed that I continue to try to include the building of capacity. So, for example, Raul had mentioned something about interagency, and then my point was strengthen capacity of the interagency monitoring groups at the national levels, which means that strengthening capacity means training, workshop, you're informing them, you're updating them with the national laws, the national international laws, international frameworks, international monitoring frameworks, international implementation plan or strategy to do with laws. So these are some of the things that we can look into. How many more minutes do we have, Yoko?
10 minutes.
3?
10.
Oh, 10 minutes. Okay, okay. All right, so we'll have to move on to the next
I know you can share with me your self email so that we can discuss further in the future.
Okay, no problem, no problem. I can.
Actually, the other group, it's moving slower than us. So I think we might have more minutes.
Okay. What right do you think, if it exists, would help in strengthening legal protection of the environment? Interesting. What right do you think, if exists, would help in strengthening legal protection of the environment? Does anybody want to take on this one? Joint external evaluation.
Yes, can I come in?
I think these stronger laws make some sense. As I mentioned it earlier, when you have very strong farm laws, you'll be able to get what you want. But if you compromise with the laws, then definitely you can't get what you wanted. So stronger laws for industrial farming, I think it makes more sense to me.
Thank you so much, Sheku. So we need stronger laws. Okay.
Yeah.
So stronger.
Then we also need to get a national climate policy.
Oh, so
we have to get national climate policy. Yes, national climate policies. Within the policies, you can factor action plan. Within the policy, you have a lot of things inside the policy. But getting a national climate policies, climate change policy, I think that makes sense also.
Okay.
Within this one, when you propose a national climate policies, say, oh, we need a national, we need to bring up a national climate policies. Then you can seek advice, try to get consultative meeting with the stakeholders in the country, getting it by district, and try to put that document together and get the view of the people. Finally, then you put it together and definitely becomes law. Because getting a national climate policy doesn't mean that it has to go through parliament or it has to go through legislature. Once you put that document together, you consult the people that you put documents together, then just launching. So, oh, this is what we have gathered. So we launch the national climate policies, and definitely it become laws.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheku. Do we have any other suggestion? I think, so I captured it through the national climate change policies.
Then also you can add action plan. It has to be an action plan again. So within the policy, then you can get action plan.
So what
can be done and what we have to do for us to achieve this result? There must be an action point. There must be an action plan.
allowed to say something?
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I also think carrying out, making it a force to carry out environmental impact assessments for investors should also be implemented. For example, we have scenarios where investors come and fill out the whole wetland and construct factories, or they clear forests for agriculture, this large scale farming. I think if they would first make it compulsory for all those investors to do an environmental impact assessment in the community, that would help, such that they get to know how the business they are carrying out is going to either negatively or positively impact the community that is staying around. Yeah, thank you.
Do you mind capturing that in like a line or two, so that I can add it easily to the to the document? I would really appreciate that. Right to chemical free and plastic free environment. Good one. Right to chemical.
But I don't think that's I heard Arian was mentioning an agriculture and forest law and farming and environmental impact assessment. I think
Can you write it? Can you write it for me, Yoko?
Don't worry, I have all the notes in the Google Notes. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right. Do you think there is any other right or law that we can use here at this one? Right to clean here. Do you think that we need, like, an internationally recognized environmental universal declaration? Clean drinking water is actually becoming a luxury. It should be accessible to all. Right to accessible, right to accessible clean drinking there are some people I haven't heard anything from here at all. Any other suggestions, colleagues, friends? Where is the other group? Let me see over here. Where are they?
Good question. I asked people, we are finishing in 15 minutes, right? And Joshua answered, yes, we are, but I have no idea where the working group is. So we're doing great. No, we have 10 minutes left.
Maybe they copied one for themselves. I'm not sure. Or created one for themselves. What rights do you think, if exists, would help in strengthening legal protection of the environment? I think we'll just move on to the next one.
Just
Animals'
one thing
rights.
to add. One thing to add on is the animal
No problem.
rights. Recently, one Indian state has established the animal rights as a living entity, and they are designated also as human rights. So they also have to have equal rights. So they also have to have equal labor rights as well. But they won't be able to enforce people to use animals for working condition, like in poor working conditions, using horses or cattle for more than 8 hours of labor or anything like that. Like they are also getting equal rights as humans as of now.
Let me just use that one. That is important as well. All right, let us move on to the next slide before we. What is an emerging issue in an environmental law that needs attention or remains a loophole? I think something that remains a loophole is this thing where countries pay for emissions. No, that's not it. What do you think that what do you think that should go there, colleague? My computer is getting really hot. Animal trafficking is a major loophole. Okay. Is there anything else that we can add over here? Oy. All right, guys, we are finishing. We will be going to the main room. So thank you again, everybody, for joining today's consultation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.